I want to say thank you to the jurors for being willing to make that tough decision. I want to say thank you to the prosecutors for the excellent job that they did. And now we're just going to move forward and continue to respond in the appropriate way going forward. But we just want to say, and the other thing I want to say is that this also lets us know that the God that we serve is still on the throne.
That's right.
Yeah.
God is still in control.
Amen.
And he has been all along. I have some other of my associates with me, Jonathan Morrison and also Colin Packer. I'd like for them to have comments.
Okay. What we're going to do at this time is that we're going to take a few questions and we're going to take the family back up. So
There's so much talk to see. 5 to 99 years. What do you think Amber Guyger deserves?
We believe in the wisdom of this jury. That decision is in the hands of this jury, and so we believe that Botham's life mattered, and we want to see a sentence that reflects that.
Yeah, and many people, a lot of commentators said there would be no murder conviction.
Right.
So right now we're already ahead of the game, and we welcome the jury's decision, as Attorney Merritt and Attorney Washington have said.
Steve.
What we do know, though, is that Amber Guyger got on the stand and she testified without a doubt that she intended to kill Botham. And we just hope that the jury remembers that this is an individual that says she didn't make a mistake. She intended to kill, and we think that the sentence that they give her should reflect that.
You all know what? Imagine what the sentence would be if the roles were reversed and Botham Jean killed Amber Guyger. Why can't it be equal justice in America, no matter what the ethnicity of the murderer is?
And 2 days after she killed Botham, she was back sexting and talking about getting drunk. So this is a person that has no remorse. This is a person being in jail for 5 to 6 years will not be enough. So we want the sentence to definitely reflect that.
Do you worry about an appeal?
What was your sense of hearing the concept of mistake of fact and castle doctrine?
Well, here's what we know, and I'll let Lee talk, but here's what we know. We did not think mistake of fact and the castle doctrine should have gotten in there, but what the family know today and what we feel comfortable about, there's really nothing that the defense is going to be able to appeal. They got everything that they wanted, so and they did not get the verdict that they wanted, so we feel good about that.
And I'll just reiterate that the mistake of fact, and particularly the castle doctrine, was asinine to go before this jury. They had no business asserting the castle doctrine in someone else's home. I'm glad that the jury simply rejected that, and we can move forward from there.
Were you surprised by, I'm sorry, Mr. Crump.
No, I was just going to say, when you think about the castle doctrine, it really reminds you a lot of stand your ground when you come up with an intellectual justification to justify the killing of an unarmed black person. Thank God the jury did not accept it.
Exactly.
And can you just give us a sense, were you surprised by this verdict?
No. If you sit number one, and I said if we were calling the game, if we were calling this like a game, the score was 92-0 the entire time. The only concern was that the jury instructions. It bothered me that those would go back, and in that case you could have a runaway jury in a sense that would go against the entire weight of the evidence. But when it's all said and done, you had someone who was completely unarmed, completely nonviolent, completely non-aggressive, sitting at his home, eating a bowl of ice cream, and someone barged into his home and shot him to death. And so when this family contacted us the day after this murder, we believed that the right conviction would happen. We believed that the right verdict would come out as guilty. We knew that in America that's rare. We knew we had a fight on our hands, but there were all the pieces in place. And I'll tell you what, this was a perfect storm of events. In terms of the justice system working together, you had a motivated district attorney's office who put on an excellent case. You had a progressive judge who made the right calls from the bench, and you had a Dallas County community that responded to the call to serve on these juries, as we need them to continue to do. So you had one of the most diverse juries that we ever seen. And when all those things worked together, I was convicted. I was certain of a conviction in this case.
And let me say this. This Dallas County has a precedence unlike anybody else in America. Remember Jordan Edwards' case.
Right.
District Attorney Faith Johnson made sure that that young unarmed child's life was not in vain when they got a conviction there. And now to get a conviction here, hopefully all the rest of the cities all across the United States will learn from Dallas, Texas, that justice means equal justice.
And one final thing that we said it before, what Mike Rivera did by deleting those text messages, that is something that just cannot go away.
That's right.
Because that was clear tampering with evidence. And that's going to be something that we're going to follow up on, and we're going to make sure that the Dallas Police Department is following the proper procedures, because as a result of not following up on people like Mike Rivera, there's a mother that we talked to who Mike Rivera took her son's life, that's still dealing with that from 2007. So we need to make sure that that's followed up on.
What this trial did was it pulled the veil back, and we saw the kind of things that lead to unfair acquittals of police officers. We saw a corrupt Dallas Police Department that actively engaged in covering for, excusing, and justifying the unjustifiable. And now that that veil has been pulled back, we've all seen it now,
right.
And we have an obligation on behalf of this family. We have each of us in this community has an obligation to go after the bad actors who tried to cover this murder up from the beginning. That's including her partner Martin Rivera. That's including Mike Mata of the Dallas Police Officers Association. We call on Chief Hall to clean house, because we're going to go about the business of cleaning house for her.
Right.